I really can't tell you the number of times that I've said that Dunk is the sneaker of 2020, and here we are again with the Sean Cliver collaboration, and it's pushing it to the limit one more time. There have been Dunks all over the place this year, with the Ben & Jerry's, an absolutely iconic shoe, huge resale. The Grateful Dead set, shoes, absolutely knocking it out of the park. Even simple, just basic colorways, university reds and things like that. And then Travis Scott, which I'll come back to later in this video, because there's a tie-up between Travis Scott and these shoes, also in there as well. So these huge shoes, shoe after shoe after shoe. Dunk just smashing it out of the park this year, and then these guys come along. I swear, I honestly believe this might be the best shoe. It's definitely the best shoe of the season, because it is seasonal, and we'll get into that as well in today's video, because this guy's cool. Dunks have been great all year. They've just done everything right, and then here we get into December, into the winter months, and they come out with a shoe like this, and it's the icing, pun intended, on the cake. So without further ado, let's get into this Nike SB Dunk Low Sean Cliver. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel です。毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today we've got the Sean Clivers in the spotlight. And I full frontal. I always want to tell you guys what's going on. I try not to keep secrets from you. I try to make sure it's I'm honest as honest can be. And when it comes to a shoe like this shoe today, I know an awful lot about Dunks, and I know nothing about Sean Cliver. I literally had to Google him. And if that means that, I'm an old man, it means I'm an old man. But as far as I know, according to what I've researched about this guy, is that he's into his main passion, or his job, what he does is skateboard designing, illustrating skateboards. And that's his main kind of what he's known for. Now, he may do more than that. He may have other things. He may be a professional skateboarder for all I know. Or in his history, there may be something else in there. But what I know, the reason he's tying it up with this shoe, and the reason the shoe looks the way it does, is because he's a skateboard designer and illustrator. But if you guys know more about him, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I recently did the Habibi Dunk Lows, and talked about that shoe, and somebody was very kind enough, and hopefully I'll be able to reply to his comments sometime soon, and we'll get to that in a minute. Was kind enough to point out a couple of mistakes in the video that I made. Now, they weren't mistakes because they were my opinions, but what the guy did was he gave me more information about the shoe that I didn't know, which made me change my opinion. So we can call them mistakes, or we can call them a change in opinion. But I talked about the double swooshes on there, and he gave me information about why they were coloured the way they are. And I talked about the laces, and he gave me information about what that means culturally. So it gave me more information. I just love it when people give me more information and tell me things. I want to learn, and I'm not at all embarrassed or angry when people point out differences of opinion. I'm not always guaranteed to accept them. You might say your opinion, and I'll say, nah, I'm still happy with mine. But that doesn't mean we can't be friends. People have differences of opinion, and they can still be friends. So in this shoe, if there's stuff in here that I say wrong, if I've got it wrong about Sean Cliver, tell me. I remember I did an Adidas earlier this year. It was Kid Cudi, and I pronounced it Kid Cudi, and somebody shot me off a comment down below and said, dude, you pronounced that wrong. Fine, I don't mind. I'm not saying that I'm a font of knowledge. I'm encyclopedic about knowledge, and I know everything about sneakers and sneaker shoes, and that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is that I research these videos, and I know shoes, and I try and bring you that and tell you about those things. So and if I get things wrong in this video, tell me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this shoe, and I'm going to show you all the stuff on it, because it looks very simple. It looks like a light blue and white SB Dunk Low with a gold swoosh on it, which it is, but there's more to it than that. And there's so much in this shoe that is worth looking at. So many small details, some that I didn't know about until I researched it, which is great. I love to learn. I love to find out more about a shoe as I dig into it. And I'm going to show you all that today, and hopefully you too will be surprised about some of the things on this shoe that you didn't already know about. So thing number one, and this is the thing that totally surprised me, was the toe box. Now, hopefully I haven't shown it to you yet, but you guys maybe already know about a signature on this toe box that's unique to this shoe. I didn't, and I thought it was cool. And what I'm talking about is this right here. And do you see it? Do you know what I'm about to say? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But that perforation on there, those little aerosol ventilation holes on the front of a dunk are usually in a different pattern, whereas this right here is a snowflake pattern, and it's very, very cool because it fits the narrative of the shoe, which is all about icy and wintry, and that's why it's a great shoe for this season. And having the snowflakes on there, I had no idea they'd done that. None whatsoever until I looked into this shoe, and I was just like, man, that's a cool detail. And they don't need to, you know what I mean? Like, nobody really cares what the perforation holes look like on the front of a shoe. But then when they do take the time to put some effort into them, it makes all the difference. So yes, well done, Sean Cliver and the Dunk guys. That's a very nice feature. Now, staying on that, it's a great place to look at the materials. There are basically two materials in this shoe, two main materials. There are a couple of sub-materials, shall we say, but main materials, what we're talking about is the white panels being leather and the blue panels being suede, and hopefully the toe box is a good place to start to give you a sense of what those materials look like and how smooth the leathers are, and then how slightly hairy the suede is. Now, if I said it was hairy suede, I'd be wrong, because hairy suede is very hairy and it looks like fur. Whereas this doesn't look like fur, but it definitely looks like it's got a little bit more texture than your standard suede. But either way, it doesn't matter. What I wrote in my notes about this is it's clean. Like, I literally wrote it that way, C-lean, clean. This shoe is clean, and that blue suede is what makes all the difference in those, in the terms of that. So, and that wraps, you know, the whole length of the shoe, toe box, quarter line lacing system, then down into the heel is that blue suede, and then the white that complements that is all in leather. And it's not too hard to go from that. And the main feature that drew me into this shoe, I didn't realize about the suede, didn't realize about the toe box with the perforations on there. It was the gold swoosh on the side that really attracted my attention. And this is that tie up to Travis Scott that I was talking about earlier, because these are the Travis Scott Air Force Ones, one of the first collaborations that Travis Scott did with the Nike line. Basic looking shoe with a very bright, shiny swoosh on the side. And it's when I saw that I thought of these guys today. I was like, you know what? That gold swoosh on there looks a lot like those Travis Scotts, but it's got a little less definition to it, much flatter, and it's a dark gold as opposed to that popping sort of bright, blingy gold that you might see on another shoe. But it is kind of the signature feature of the shoe. And in a way, I'm kind of disappointed because it takes away from all the other great details on here, which is which is where we're going to go right now. Let's look at the rest of the shoe and tell you about some of these details. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to go to the heel, because the heel is the last basic design element of the shoe I want to talk about before I talk about three hot design elements of this shoe. So if you go around to the heel, what you'll see at the heel, what you'll see at the back, there's two particular things I want to talk about. Is one, that gold Nike branding on the back that really brings us together with those swooshes, because they're really the main kind of features, the main colors of this shoe. And I think that's two only really significant places where gold comes into play in a big way on the shoe. It does come in a little way in a couple of minutes time. But then below that as well, you've got the grey or the silver that makes up the top end of the ankle. It's very muted. It's not played around with elsewhere. It's not on any other part of the shoe except the laces, which we'll get to in a couple of seconds time. But the actual fabrics of the shoe is very much a white and light blue shoe. And then this top kind of half of the ankle in silver or grey, whichever way you want to look at it. I think it actually works to bring a bit of balance to the shoe, because blue with a light blue and the white are so kind of light. You need something a bit heavier. It's almost like lead, a bit heavier to bring the shoe down and sort of center it a little bit. So that colouring on there, although it's only in a small place, I think it has a big effect. And then we might as well go forward and look at the laces at the same time we look at the tongues, because the laces being silver matches that. It's more grey in the back of the shoe with those ankles, whereas the laces are very much silver, but they're very, it brings that icy feel to the shoe again, that wintry feel. And what you'll be looking at right here is those laces, but also that branding panel at the top that says Nike swoosh SB and then Cliver underneath of it, which I think always like it when they play with the tongue branding on something to show the collaboration and to show respect to somebody. And that's exactly what they've done here with Cliver's name underneath the Nike branding. And then it's easy to sort of pan back from that and have a look into the insole. And again, features that I like is when the left and the right shoe don't match, because they've taken the time and the effort and the money to put in a little bit more on the shoe. And in the case of this one, you've got a very simple signature from Sean Cliver on one shoe, very low key, and then you've got a monster popping Christmas snowman scene on the other one. So one is very subdued, and I think it's white with a silver signature on it or something like that, and then the other one is all colors and red and green, and it's like spray paint kind of design or animation design so on the insole. So that's very, very cool. And then the last thing to do is take it to the opposite end. If we talk about insoles second last, let's talk about outsoles last. Great looking outsole, and this is the last place we get to that gold on the shoe. The translucent outsole would have been enough in that blue to give that icy feel to the shoe, but then speckling it throughout with gold. Looks like glitter, so teachers beware. Glitter is a teacher's nightmare because it gets everywhere and it just sticks there and you can't get rid of it. But it's fine, teachers, don't worry. The glitter's on the inside and it's not going to get all over the place. But again, it's that Christmas feel, that winter feel, and it's a great finish to a shoe. To me, looking at the whole shoe, it looks like they've taken their time. They've really taken their time to every little bit of this shoe means something. Sometimes shoes you just think, you're like, what does that mean, or why is that like that, or have they just thrown that on there? I remember talking in a video about an outsole once that didn't make sense on a shoe, and it felt like they were just like, oh look, we've got an excess of these outsoles, let's chuck that on this shoe so that we can use up our stock. Whereas this shoe today, it feels like every single stitch on it, every single stitch on it. Can't believe I forgot this because the swoosh is gold, and this is one of my favorite features of the shoe. The midsole stitching that holds the midsole to the upper is in gold as well. What a great little feature, and that's what I'm talking about. Every little part of this shoe is thought about, it's careful, it's deliberate, and it works. It's a great shoe. That's why I'm so happy to get behind this shoe and say it's at least the nicest dunk of the season, if not the year, because this is a beautiful shoe. But it's not just a beautiful shoe, it's a well thought out shoe, and it makes sense. And that's a great way to end this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. This is the day 1 of year 3. Yesterday we talked in the video about how I've done daily drops for 2 years non-stop without a single day missed. Like not a single day missed. And today is day of year 3 of daily drops, and we're going to keep on keeping on. So thank you guys for checking out the content. Truly appreciate it. And because I do this every single day, it means I get to say the same thing at the end of every single video, which is that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.